Real life military. Today, watching the presidential debate, I just kept on thinking about power and control. This presidential debate, we have two like polar opposites, and there are bad things about both of them, not very many good things. So Biden was very, the start of it, he was very slow and not well put together, and Trump was fine. He said a lot of crazy stuff, like everyone, they like basically this is the strongest person in the world and the future or still the strongest person in the world, and they're calling each other liars and saying that the other person's just bad at their job, and this is the most powerful person in the world, really. So it got me thinking about what I can control and what power I have. So the most important things in your life. So when you think about that, it's like your job. So in your job, you, unless you own your own company, you are under somebody else and they have that control over you. And it really breaks my heart for the guys that work their whole lives, work so hard at their job, and then it's gone and they barely get anything for it, if anything, where they could get let go and it could all be over. So that's what I was thinking about with power and control. It's like maybe no, most people are putting their efforts into the wrong things or things that they don't have control and power into. And I think it's important to balance those things because your job, it's not. It works for some that work really hard and get lucky and do everything right and it just falls into place. It does. But for most people, it doesn't. And those people will be disappointed at the end, most likely, especially if you're in the military. You after you take that uniform off, you're actually a real person again. And your job, you could have just said something wrong and people don't like you for that one mistake. People don't like you for that, the wrong joke you say, or just someone doesn't like your face straight up. You don't have a lot of control into what your job is. Yes, you can work extremely hard, you can do everything right, but still, it's not under your control the way that most people think it is. And that's why a lot of people feel disappointed. So when you're thinking about family and your children, you think you would have a lot of control into that. But if you're if you know a lot of people that are older, things start falling apart. And most guys, they are on the false pretense that they put everything into their family, which yes, I think you should put a lot of effort into the things that matter in your life. And family and children do matter in your life, but those things can also get taken away from you. And you can lose yourself in trying to do the best for your wife, your girlfriend, and your kids, and you expect something out of it. Every single time you do something, you're expecting something. So those expectations disappointing, can be disappointing because you make that excuse. It's like, oh, I'm sacrificing. Like, I can't. My health isn't 100% right. I don't sleep right. I don't eat right. I don't work out. I don't make extra money. And the excuse is because I spend all the time with my family, those super dads out there. And like, awesome. Like, I try my best to be the best that I can be as a dad and a husband, but I'm not going to neglect myself because once that starts happening, that can be the beginning of the end. Your wife, I know guys that are older that have been married for over 15, 20 years, and that's it. Like you've worked, you've taken care of a person for that long, and they can just walk away. They could just bounce with their lover. They can just say we grew apart, or it could be 1 or 2 years, and they just get up and then take your kids, and nothing you can do about it. And with kids, you can try your hardest. Like think about yourself and how hard your parents worked for you. And it's like maybe I could have done better, you know? maybe you could have done better, and they could have put you in private schools. They could have had you in every sport. You could be doing the same thing for your kids, and they could grow up just to hate you for something that happens, something small out of your control, and that's it. And that's another thing with that power and control. It's like I do have a lot of power over my kids, but I can't control that outcome, and I don't want to put expectations on children because it's probably not going to be what I think it is. They're going to do their own thing, just like I'm going to do my own thing when it comes to the job that I have or how I treat people in my life. Like that's that control and power. And when you talk about the media, like they control the narrative. Like going back to the presidential debates, like the earliest ones with the polarizing Trump and Hillary one, where she deleted 30,000 emails and he was colluding with Russia. It's like some of those things are true, some of the things weren't. What about Island? There's a whole list that just disappeared. 9/11, the weapons of mass destruction, and the list goes on and on and on. Just recently with yeah, COVID-19. Like, come on, like like they said, like 2 million people were gonna die. No, the BLM riots, over 1.2 like billion dollars worth of damage, and you had Congress people like not jailing people, and it was destroying like black communities. And then you go to all the stuff that happened in Hong Kong, all those riots. And the reason why I bring those up because that was um, like basketball season, and none of the basketball players wanted to talk about it. And the ones that did talk about it got in trouble because they didn't want to lose that money. January 6th, when Trump incited a coup, and all those people went in and they said it was like the worst attack on American soil. It's like, are you kidding me? And some of those people got more than murderers. Some of those people are in there for 20 years and not one person died. I think one policeman died of like, but that's the media. And then history. When I grew up, they taught about the Native Americans, Civil War. Now they teach LGBTQ stuff. And when you think about the most evil person, you think about the Nazis, but there was Stalin and Mao. It's the narrative and the power. And most things that you think that you have even choice, the control is in somebody else's hands. And when you have to control what knowledge you take in. So if you're just like this bot that goes around and just does what everybody else says, it's like, oh, I do everything for my kids, or I work so hard in my job, or I trust this what's going on in the news, and like this like war itself, like this proxy war we got going on with Ukraine and Russia, Gaza and Israel, NATO, all of it. Like there is power and control, and most people just walk through life doing what other people want them to do or what they think that they should be doing. And you what I try to do is control what I can control. And the things I can't control, I live knowing that those things can fall through. So I focus on things that I can control the outcome of, or at least put enough effort into it to keep it going and do the right thing, but also know that this outcome that I'm trying to get, because whenever you do anything, you're doing it for a reason, for an outcome. But I just know that I'm not in control of this outcome. So maybe it's not the most important thing in my life right now. It might be later down the line, or maybe I already missed the opportunity. But controlling what you can control is the most important thing that I think in my life. And the thing that I control the most is myself. I control what I consume, the food I consume, the output I put in my life, the knowledge that I choose to consume, and what I choose to distract myself with. And if it's good, then it'll be good for me. If it's bad, then it's it's an outward, it's an inward outward look, because whatever you choose to do and whatever you choose to consume, it will show in your life. So those people that look like shit, that don't have shit, they usually chose badly. They consumed the wrong things. They put things, their priorities aren't straight. And most of it is because they thought they had control or power that's fake. That's not real. It's just something that's like, "Oh, here you go. Here's all your power." But the person giving it to you knows that you don't have any fucking power, because they probably know that they don't have any power. But you feel happy because someone says that you have power. Just because someone says that you have power, just think about it. Do you really have power over it? Do you have control over it? And knowing that you can control some things and not others, it just helps you. It's helped me. I don't stress about things that I can't control, or at least I don't stress as much as I used to about things that I don't control. And I know what kind of power I have, and I know how to get the power that I want to get and the control that I want to get. And that balance of power and control, and what's real and what's not, and how you even have to act like you have that power and control, just for the people that actually do have the power and control that are watching you. Because if you act too much like a rogue, then you're gonna catch some strays. So sometimes you gotta put on that face and be like, yes, I have this power and control. And you have to play the part depending on what you're doing in life, and putting on that fake face like most people do in social media. Sometimes that's what you got to do to get through it, or to keep on working towards the things that you know you have power and control over. So then you finally actually obtain that power and control. But just watching these debates tonight were just like, it was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is the most powerful person in the world, and they're acting like this. And then afterwards,